guys, welcome to another colouring video. Today I am going to be colouring from asleep this lovely, wonderful Kraken. I've been looking forward to colouring this little guy. It's one of my favourites from asleep. Anything with tentacles really is a favourite. So welcome and let's get colouring. I'm thinking a Kraken needs to be green, so I'm going to do his main body and his tentacles a vignette of greens. I'm going to be using alcohol markers, and I'm going to start out with my ice blue. And I'm just thinking, do I want to go from blue to dark green or from blue to dark green? Maybe we go light at the top, green at the bottom. Or maybe you go the other way. Let's go the other way. I'm going to test it out first on this tentacle. I do have a protective sheet behind, a bit of card, just to keep the colours from not bleeding through onto the page behind. I'm going to work my way through the colours. I've got a mint green light next. So like that. Let's go for now just a straight mint green. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to warm up by doing the shorter tentacles and then finish up maybe with doing this whole body. Because once you get started, you don't want to stop. Because if you stop and it dries out and then you start again, you tend to get lines showing where you've done that. So the key to colouring effectively with alcohol markers is to keep going. Although you can blend them quite effectively and save yourself, save the any mistakes that are made or any lines that get made. That's my mint green light, and I'm just going to bring in my straight mint green. Maybe I could vignette them light blue to dark green to light blue. Could be fun. What do you reckon? Bringing this light ice blue just back in to try and make that blend less obvious. When that dries out, that hopefully will look better. All right. Here's my last detached tentacle. Now leaving the suction cups and the underbelly of the tentacles, I'm going to do that a different colour, a contrasting colour maybe. Well, it's raining markers. When I'm doing this blending, I tend to hold the markers all in my hand, and then if I get too many, they drop out. Don't know that that's good. Okay, now this is the tricky part, because I'm going to colour this whole section in one go and then come back in. These are drying less effectively than I hoped. Should have left them as they were. Well, it's probably a good cautionary tale for you guys. Leave well enough alone. If something's working out, don't try and make it better. But then again, I don't want to give any fear. There should be the ability to have experiment and fun without worrying about messing things up, because that's really what it's all about, isn't it? If you're scared to do something, you're never going to learn. So leap out, do crazy stuff. There's always another page to start. And if things get too out of hand, well, you could just grab yourself another book and start again from scratch. Maybe buy 2 books. I haven't done duplicates in these sweet and simple colouring books. I've just filled them with 50 straight illustrations, but on my signature edition books, the bigger ones, there are duplicates, or now mostly duplicates with a difference. I have just completed the duplicates with a difference on Forest Song. I'm going back through the back catalogue. So that's something to keep an eye out for. If you haven't got Forest Song yet, now's a good time to get it, because it's just gone up with the duplicates with the difference. So I'll have to do a flip through just so that you can all see what's going on inside it. Maybe it's a good idea. Now I am going to, this is my light. Oh, this is just straight mint green. I missed my light green. Ugh. Get the light mint green in. Mint green light. There you go. Light blue through to my darker greens. Now what I'm thinking for the tentacles is I'm going to go pink, dark blush, and pastel violet. Just because I think the expected colour would maybe be a yellow or a yellowy green. I just sort of wanted to throw this in amongst it. And I'm going to try and do a little bit of a blend of colours here. It's only subtle, but those little subtle things make a difference. I think they make a difference. What do you think about the pink? It's a little bit out there. We'll really be able to tell on this tentacle where you can see more of the underside, the underbelly, the hidden underbelly of the Kraken. I'm actually thinking I might bring in another. What about some of this pale blue violet? I'm quite happy with that. I needed a little bit more of a contrast. Lovely. All right, where's some more tentacles? I think I've just got this leg to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can only see 5 of his legs, which means that there are another 3 hidden somewhere in that bathtub. Now I think I'm going to do the same thing for these eyes. Quite happy with how the pink's playing off against the greens. Do them both at once. I want to go quick so that I don't lose the wetness when I'm blending. I'll do the darker at the bottom, leave the pinker at the top. And then finally the pale blue violet. Get a bit of a curve in and highlight that roundness. Ooh, lovely. And I think I'm going to match it up there. And his fin, is that a fin? His head fin. I'm going to try and, using colour, highlight the parts of the fin. I'm going to mirror it from the top one. Oh, I'm quite happy with that with colour mix. Now I need to, I'm always a big fan of transferring across colours. So while I've got my pink markers and my pale violet markers, I'm going to pick out even just a little bit like that. I think that's enough just to tie it in a little bit. Right now, this boat, I'm going to do the boat before I do the bathtub. And I'm going to start with a pastel peach for my sails. You could use also like a warm grey 140. But I think the pastel peach is going to bring some of those pink tones, which might help work with my already pink-eyed and tentacled Kraken. There you go, pastel peach. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to give the rim of my bathtub the same treatment. And once again, you could use a warm grey or another light colour through here, but because I'm using the pastel peach in the sails, I'm going to carry it through here. I'm thinking of doing a lovely dark blue bathtub. Lovely. But what am I going to do with these feet? Are they going to be brass? I think they might be brass. Does this become brass as well? I think it might have to be. It would look weird if I did it a pastel peach. Now I'm thinking a terracotta and a brick brown for my boat. Could work. Could work. I'm going there. A lighter one, the terracotta, I'm going to do for the main body. And the brick brown, I'm going to do the keel. I might also do the masts. I'm going to leave these little sections and the ones at the top for a little bit of brass work as well. The brass here, the brass on the boat could be a good connection. I might just do around these windows that same brick brown colour, now that I think about it. Oh, lovely. Now I'm going to bring in my yellows to try and do a brass vibe. Lemon yellow to base it, and then a melon yellow. I'm sure that the people who named these markers were laughing at us because they know that if you're going to use melon yellow and lemon yellow, you're going to come across some sort of tongue twister. Cool, and while I've got these out, I'm going to do my feet. I've tried blending from a dark colour to a light colour. And I've tried blending on with a light colour as the base and a dark colour on top. And also I prefer the blend with the light colour on the bottom, and you just go over the top. And the only trouble with that is that the top colour, if you go over it while it's wet like it is now with the melon yellow, it can tend to not be very extreme, which is an effect I'm sort of hoping for here, and that these two colours will continue to sort of absorb into each other. If you put the dark down first and leave this clear and then come in with the yellow, you've got to try and blend that out, which can work. It just gives it a different effect. This has been my experience. I claim to be an expert on blending markers, but I did spend my youth as a graphic designer back in the day when Pantone markers were heavily used. So it's sort of fun to come full circle because the computers took over, of course, and less markers were used. So it's fun to come full circle and to be playing with them again. Well, not Pantone markers, I bought Ohuhu markers because they are way cheaper than Pantone markers. All right, let's talk about blue bathtubs. What do you think? Is it going to be too much? I don't think so. I think I like a deep blue bathtub. I'm going to go, what am I going to do? I'm going to start with a cerulean blue. It's because I want the light edges. So I might have the light coming sort of from behind, and I'll colour in the edges a little bit cerulean. Maybe the bottom a little bit. And then come back at that with a brilliant blue maybe. Yeah, let's do a brilliant blue. Now I'm going to come back with my cerulean and try and soften that edge a bit. And just for fun, let's get some cobalt blue. It's a little bit darker. Just in the centre there. Beautiful. Alright, let's going to repeat that around here. Alright, let's go cerulean blue around the edge. A little less maybe on the bottom. I just didn't want to colour the bathtub in one big blob of blue, of dark blue. I thought it could be a bit too much. This is my brilliant blue. So blending your markers can be fun. I'm going to bring back my lighter blue to now try and soften that edge a bit. And the last thing I'm going to do is come back in with my cobalt blue and give myself a lovely deep centre. This blue blend, maybe even some there. I think that's given me a lovely bit of dimensionality on that. Let's talk bubbles, bubble bath. First of all, let's get that cobalt blue and bring some of those colours back in here. Rather than fill these in with black holes, I'm going to fill them in with that blue. I coloured out of the lines there in a crazy moment. Right, bubbles. I've already done him pink, or I do them pink bubbles, I'm sure. All we need is a really light blue. Let's go like a turquoise blue. Stay in that same bluey range and bring in a turquoise blue. I just have to find it. There it is. Ooh, it is a lot like our already bluey green. It's a bit lighter. It should dry a bit lighter than it looks now. That's my hope. And I was thinking of coming back in with some pencils to give myself highlights on this. All right, now I'm going to talk about some colours, some shadows. I'm going to bring my warm grey 150 because I want some shadows on here, just on the edge of that rounded bath lip. Maybe even on these. Let me increase that, especially on the back one. And even under the lip. Let's do a little bit under the lip. Not going to really notice it in the dark blue, but you'll notice it there. Just add to our believability. Maybe a bit of shadow underneath his head. I also want to do some shadow under the bath, so let's just give ourselves a line there. I think that he's probably going to need some shadowing on his body. I'm going to give that a thicker edge on his body. All right, this is my colourless blender, and I'm going to just use it to give myself some spots. I'll even try using the thickest of it. So the theory is this will suck out the colour, but I may have let it dry too much. Should have come back in when this was wetter and it might have been more effective, but I think it's a subtle little, it's a lighter, some lighter spots. I don't want to go darker because then it'll just be this dark green. Well, this will enable me to dissolve and suck some of that colour out. Oh, not too many, maybe some bigger spots up here on his head. A bit vigorous. Maybe you can see the whole table shuddering underneath this. Alrighty, well I think that's enough of the markers. I'm going to go and grab my colour pencils. I'm going to use some Polychromos and try and bring in some definition. I'll put it here. What do you think? It's going to create havoc. Alright, what have I got here? This is a Cabot Mortem 169. I just wanted to try and bring in some definition into this boat, maybe draw some planks. Subtlety is the key, as usual. And then I think I want to lighten things up. So let's get some yellow, dark chrome yellow I have here. Fabulous. Well, I've got this, I'm going to bring some colour into my brass legs. More orange, I think, is needed. I'm going to go a bit darker, a bit of a darker orange. This little guy here, dark cadmium orange. Alrighty, now I've got a walnut brown. I'm going to try and come back in on some shadowing on that, maybe even on these. Alright, what I'm looking for now is some limey green colours. This could be our winner. Just want to lighten up around some of the top edges of our light green. That's what this is. Well, let's play with it a bit down here. It doesn't matter so much. Yeah, that's sort of fun. Let's try some May green. Not really what I was after. Actually, I have to go to some yellows. This is a sort of a yellowy, yellow lemon. I don't know, yellow lemon. Is that melon yellow, yellow lemon, lemon yellow? Now I'm confused. I'm not going to do this right on the edge. I'm going to just thinking of doing a sort of like a highlight on his forehead, give him that silky body. Yeah. All right, let's play with the eye. Give it some definition. Some sort of darker green. Let's go some darker green. What do you reckon for these shadows under the eyes? What have we got? It's a deep cobalt green. I could have done this with some marker work, but I think pencils give a little bit of texture, which I thought would be nice to play with. I'd also introduce some of this darker green, just to sort of accentuate the shadows where the tentacles go into the bath. This pink is just a bit too garish, and it's clashing a little bit with the colours. So I'm going to try and find my colourless blender again and maybe do some pink reduction therapy. Just where it's deeper pink, because I like the lightness of it. It's just the pink is a little bit too much. It's clashing a little bit, I thought, with the colour, so I'm going to steal some of that colour out of there. Tone it back a bit. And you can see on these dots that as they dried lighter than so just pulling that colour back a bit from the edge, but still leaving it as a fun highlight that rips off the greens. Pink and green. Pink and green should never be seen. You know what I think we need here is maybe a rubber ducky. What do you think? I'm encouraging everyone to launch out. These books are so much fun. But if you want to start to throw some of your own creativity around, why not add in a border or draw something that you think needs to be in there? It's a good place to do it, because really the books aren't that expensive that you can't play a little bit. And I know this means I'm going to have to bring back my melon yellow and my lemon yellow. Now, I might not have let this dry enough. Lemon yellow, and how is my melon yellow? Give him a beak, give his wing a little bit of a dark. Oh, there you go, I smudged the ink, I didn't let it dry. Well, it says water fast, and this is alcohol, so maybe it's not alcohol fast. But I'm quite happy with my little addition there of a rubber ducky. Right, now I can't resist doing this. I'm going to bring in my white pigment ink. Will it even draw over the top of my coloured pencil? These are the questions I'm asking. But I think this is going to look really good if we can get it sort of draws over it. Maybe I should get a white Posca. My thin white Posca has run out. Gets a bit patchy over the coloured pencil. There you go, he looks nice and shiny now as if he's wet in his bath. I might also give some highlights to my brass legs. See if I can't convince them to look more brass-like. Probably too yellow to be brass, aren't they? But hey, this is all a make-believe world. Because let's face it, is there really such a thing as a Kraken? Probably should do some highlights on here as well. Maybe just around there. And of course, let's make these bubbles. I guess the idea is to work away from your hand so that you don't have to, because this stuff takes a little while to dry. You don't want to smudge it. Maybe even on the bathtub lip. How clean do you think a Kraken keeps its bathtub? Not very, I'm thinking. Well, I think I'm going to call that complete. And there it is, my Kraken. From asleep. I've enjoyed colouring him very much. I'm very happy with the result. I hope that you enjoyed watching. Remember to like and subscribe this video. Check out the other videos I've got on my channel. I'm starting to get a bit of a collection there now. I really appreciate you watching. Thanks so much. And I shall see you in another video. See you guys.